The formalities began with the Legion Color Party's march onto the parade square.
March your hand here, Phil. Here over to the left, that's it.
The RCMP are from Winnipeg and under the command of Inspector Todd Chapman. The RCMP veterans. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now have the platform guest piped in by piper RCMP veteran Bob Waugh. The piper will now return to the Travel Information Center and bring on the Lieutenant Governor. Attention that the Commissioner of the RCMP, Commissioner J.P.R. Murray, Today is an historic day for all RCMP members and veterans across Canada. It is an historic day for Emerson and the Fort Dufferin site located just north and east of this particular site. 121 years ago, on June 19, 1874, the entire Northwest Mounted Police Force, under the command of Commissioner G.A. French, gathered at Fort Dufferin prior to its historic march west. The force was charged with the duty of occupying this land in the name of the Canadian government, establishing law and maintaining order, gaining the friendship of the native peoples, establishing the validity of the international border, suppressing the illicit traffic of whiskey traders, and making it safe for settlers to come and establish homes, and other duties as required. The night of June 19, 1874 was not to be forgotten by these men. Around midnight, as the men and animals tried to rest, a typical summer thunderstorm struck, and as a result, a number of the horses bolted, their restraints, and they stampeded onto the prairies and into Dakota Territory. They were pursued by the members on horseback, and after a long chase of 30 to 50 miles from Dufferin, all of the horses except 3 were rounded up and brought back. Commissioner French also had problems with some of the men who were bothered by the hot weather, mosquitoes, and the saloon at Emerson. The latter I know not why. Some members deserted and went across the American border. At this point, Commissioner French called for a full-dress parade and announced, "We wish no dissatisfied men in the force. If any of you wish to go, nothing will be done to stop you. Speak now." No one moved. Commissioner French spoke again. "For you who remain, I demand that neither hardship nor suffering, nor privation nor fear of death, any and all of which you may expect, shall move you a hair's breadth from carrying out the duties of the force." Dismissed. On July the 8th, 1874, the force, splendid in their scarlet tunics, white helmets, and gauntlets, awaited the signal, and Commissioner French raised his hand, and the 800-mile march to the mountains had begun, the longest ever accomplished by a force provisioning itself on a march across the wilderness, a march into history. Today we remember that march and what it meant to those men and what it means to our people today. We are gathered here to honor those members of the Northwest Mounted Police who took part in that historic march, and also to remember those members of the Royal Northwest Mounted Police and the Royal Canadian Mounted Police who have served this great country during the ensuing years.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are here today to dedicate and not to meditate. So on that note, I think it's high time we've got to look at the finished product. I think that horse is probably getting a little warm in there. I'll turn you back to our MC Jerry to move on to the unveiling procedures. Jerry?
Gentlemen, would you now please unveil our statue?
Three cheers for the vets! Hip hip! Hooray! Hip hip! Hooray! Hip hip! Hooray! Hip! And that east!
I will now call on the Padre of our Veterans Association, the Reverend Ray McMurray, for the dedication of the statue. This will be followed with the playing of the lament by our RCMP veteran piper, Robert Waugh.
I wish to acknowledge the hard-working men and women of the Manitoba Division of the Royal Canadian Mounted Police Veterans Association for their long hours and careful planning in securing the funds to launch this project, and for the preparation that has made this day of dedication possible. Fort Dufferin was originally the headquarters of the British International Boundary Survey Commission. Fort Dufferin, purchased by the Northwest Mounted Police early in 1874, became the only place in the force's history that all mounted police were gathered in one location. 121 years ago this date, July 8th, 300 men left Fort Dufferin. 282 kilometers and 13 days later, they covered what is today southern Manitoba. The march west, for the most part, utilized the Boundary Commission Trail, a route laid out in 1873 by the International Boundary Commission during their survey and marking of the 49th parallel, the boundary between Canada and the USA. I have some notes here from words that were recorded by George Arthur French, the first commissioner of the Northwest Mounted Police. And I quote, "This Canadian force, hastily raised, armed and equipped and not under martial law, marched, I have 2,000 miles, I heard 800, but nevertheless, their unknown territory, bare of pasture and scanty in its water supply, marched from the Red River to the foothills of the Rocky Mountains." The eventual rebuilding of Fort Dufferin is a priority of both the Manitoba RCMP Veterans Association and the Boundary Commission Trail Commission Association. Fort Dufferin and the 1874 Northwest Mounted Police March West are two aspects of our province's history which our two associations have pledged to bring to their rightful prominence. This has been partially accomplished when a series of southern Manitoba highways in the vicinity of the 1874 March West were officially designated and signed by the province of Manitoba as the Boundary Commission Northwest Mounted Police route. The unveiling and dedication of the RCMP statue today will be one more step in fulfilling of that pledge. I have the honor, on behalf of the Manitoba Division of the Royal Canadian Mounted Police Veterans Association, to dedicate this statue to the glory of God and in tribute to the members of the Northwest Mounted Police and the Royal Canadian Mounted Police who have contributed to the history, settlement, and development of the province of Manitoba and Western Canada.
Bill Marty.